Megan Fox.
Yeah, Megan Fox has the story.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox writes at PJ Media.
Eat Tucker.
And that was your last.
Damn it, man. I cried for 2 days.
Megan, thank you very much for that.
So, I can explain the bed thing.
If you don't show up and vote, up your ass. I don't care if you're in the hospital. Crawl to the stake. Crawl there.
It's like Jesus going into the temple. He's like, I got a whip! Get out! Get out! The lovely and wonderful Megan Fox. Not that one.
Not that one. Not the weird one that drinks blood in his toe thumb.
Megan Fox.
Megan. And honestly, Megan, if you don't like it, I'm sorry.
She's the devil.
Megan.
Megan Fox. Megan Fox.
I've been very nice to you, although I could probably maybe not be based on the way you have treated me, but I wouldn't do that.
You've never met a like me. You want to tangle? You want to go? Holy sh**.
Too much cussing on this. I guess we didn't bleep it, so we got to turn it off. But it's.
You pissed off the wrong woman.
Oh my God! I have been assaulted when Megan Fox runs wild on you, brother.
She's the devil.
Not for publication.
The story.
I'm Megan Fox. Thank you. Cheers.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I'm Megan Fox, medium smart journalist, here to talk about all the things that you're interested in, whether they are good or bad or whatever, indifferent. We had kind of a bad day yesterday. We were not happy about what happened at the Jennifer Crumbley trial. And I was just over on Legal Vice's stream watching Welcome Vice's raid, by the way. I was watching Jeff's rewatching of the closing arguments, and it was really wonderful. If you missed it, please go back and watch Jeff's stream. Watch Legal Vices. The reason I'm late today is because I never like to miss Legal Vices when he's streaming, because he's great. I love watching him. He's a dear friend, but he's also so entertaining and right on. And I liked listening to what he had to say about it. And I was not surprised that he didn't love the defense argument. But I was surprised a little bit, because I think as a layperson, I like getting Jeff's opinion because he's an attorney, and as a layperson, I didn't think it was that bad, that she used herself as an example of bad parenting sometimes, because I think we all fail as parents. And I think it's really the height of hubris to sit in judgment of somebody else's parenting and just be like, I wouldn't have done that, because I don't think you know. But Jeff had a very good point, that her big mistake was that she didn't make it personal for the jury. Instead of saying, I did this and I've called my kids weird, she should have said, you have probably done this. You have done this. You have called your kid weird. You have sent text messages that could be taken out of context. You have done these. You have ignored your children when you should have paid attention to them. How many times have your children asked you to spend time with them and you did something else instead? Because every single one of us has been guilty of those things. So, I think that he had a good point there. But I did understand what she was trying to do. Jeff, thanks for the super chat. Jeff, where's first super chat of the day? Legal Vices says, oh, stop. Keep stopping. Stop some more. Well, it's true. Jeff, I don't like to miss your stream. So if you're streaming when I'm supposed to be streaming, I usually just push it off so I can keep watching or join you. Either one. Either one. I'm always up for it. Well, usually. Okay. So what are we going to do today? I just found out that the jury forewoman, as she likes to call herself, don't cross the streams.
Phrasing.
Well, and Jeff and I also share an audience for the most part. We have a lot of you in my audience, cross over to Jeff's audience. And so I think it's nice that we don't stream at the same time sometimes if we can help it. Just because then I get people saying, why are you streaming when Jeff is streaming? I can't watch you both at the same time. The jury forewoman at the Jennifer Crumbley case, she gave an interview directly after court, and oh my God, this character. Clown World is getting weirder and weirder. Wait till you see this woman. If you've seen the thumbnail, you've seen what she looks like. And yes, I added those fangs, but I actually believe she's wearing fangs. I think she has prosthetic fangs in. And I'm going to show you close-ups of her mouth to show you that. But first, we're going to go over to pjmedia.com because I have written a new article that you all need to see. Now, Joe at Good Logic, he read some of it last night, but he was feeling self-conscious about it because I quoted him extensively. But Joe is so quotable that I couldn't help myself. But I actually got all the reactions from most of the law tubers who were commenting on this case. I did not get Jeff's quote because he was sleeping at the time I wrote this. We're on such different schedules that sometimes it's hard for me to get that. Parental writes in their sites, and shout out to Nick Likes the Soup on Locals because he helped me come up with this headline. By the way, I did a work stream yesterday on Locals for members only, meganfox.locals.com, where you can come and work with me sometimes and help me write articles. That's what I did yesterday. And by the way, if you're looking for the Locals chat, I boomered it on accident, the Wednesday members only live chat, so I had to put up a new one. Sorry, guys, but I did put it up there. IT Goatee Brad, still out of commission. He's not feeling good. Brad, you might want to go get a strep test because I just found out that the strep is so virulent right now. Not only does my son have it, but I talked to Greg Anderson last night. His kids have it, and now he has it too. And he's in Florida, and I'm in New York, and I know you're in Michigan, but it's going around right now. It is going around bad. Hangry is still home from school. He's still feeling bad. He's on the antibiotics, but I kept him home again. Okay, so I wrote this article. I'm going to drop it. Mods, if you could maybe copy this link and post it occasionally. And mods, I thank you to the mods, by the way. Shout out to the mods for doing all the hard work. Clickety click. This does help me. If you can't send a super chat or a Locals tip or a Rumble rant or a Cash App or a Venmo, you can for free head over to PJ Media and click this link, and it does help me. It goes directly into my paycheck. And then you can take that link and share it on your social media. And I really appreciate it when you do that, because when you share this on social media, it will get more eyes on it. And I'm sorry, but this case, let me just say off the top, because I know there are some people tuning in who are like, how can this woman be defending a woman whose son murdered a bunch of kids in a school shooting, a horrific school shooting? Well, let me say right off the bat, I don't like Jennifer Crumbley. I don't like her parenting. I don't like her. I don't like that she was cheating on her husband. I don't like that she was running around on swingers apps. I don't think she was a very attentive parent. I think the argument could be made that she was neglectful of her son. I think the argument could be made that these parents might have even been abusive to their son by keep leaving him alone and abandoning him the way they did so many times. I think that they were both very involved in themselves, more so than most parents. And I think that they were not paying attention. I think you could go after them criminally for child abuse and neglect. But I don't think the state proved that these parents or any parents have a duty to other people's children, but they do have a duty to their own. But I did not see this so-called element where they had a duty to somebody else's children. I think the school has an absolute legal duty to other people's children. They are in loco parentis. That is a law. They are in the school. When the kids are in the school acts as the parent. The school has an actual legal duty. I did not see them prove that these parents have a legal duty to other people's children. That is a legal precedent we've never seen before. So am I now responsible? I don't like the precedent this sets. I don't like the Crumbley's parenting skills at all. And I think that civilly, they could be sued successfully and they could win. The parents would win. But the state going after them criminally for manslaughter, for one, removes the onus on the shooter, right? It takes away the responsibility from the kid who actually did the school shooting, which I think is a very bad precedent. It's a very bad message to send. That if a 15-year-old who got tried as an adult, let me just hold on. I'm starting to rant. And a 15-year-old who got tried as an adult, and the state agreed that he was in full knowledge of what he did, and he can take full responsibility for what he did by going to an adult prison. He's going to be in an adult prison for the rest of his life. I don't know how they get to have their cake and eat it too and say that the Crumbleys are then also responsible because he was a minor. But the state sees him as an adult. So I don't like that argument. I think it's a bad one. And I also think it's a bad precedent because where does it end? When does it stop? If your child takes your car that you gave them access to and they drive drunk, are you criminally responsible? If they kill someone, are you now going to jail for unintentional manslaughter? You gave them the keys. You didn't have any knowledge of what they were doing, and you didn't know they were drinking, and you didn't know they were going to get in the car and kill somebody, but they did. Are you going to jail now? Is the state going to come prosecute you for that? And I think that this is a problem. Melanie Lewis, well, you just hit the jackpot because let's a little dance party here. Whenever the first person who says something about my hair, well, now you're going to get it. Now you're going to get it. The chat. You've derailed me, but I did bring a little hair tutorial for you today. So since you said you liked my hair, this is like day 3 hair, maybe 4. I've slept on it. In order to make it look nice again, I've been using this. This is a really cool little product here. It's by Cantu. And it is a coconut oil shine and hold mist. So I just spray some of this on my hands, smooth it over my hair, scrunch it in. And I also use some of this, which was the Cantu Natural Hair Comeback Curl. I'm pretty sure that this Comeback Curl Next Day Curl Revitalizer is on my Amazon shop. I need to put this one on there though. The coconut oil, because I really like this one. It's shiny. It's very shiny. But thank you, Melanie. I appreciate that. And that's all we're going to do. I just thought I brought a couple of products to show you. And if you have not visited my Amazon shop, you should, because the lip stain that I'm wearing today is in there too. It's called Apple. I love it. It's by Bay Free. It's apple color. And I'm wearing just Aquaphor over it because it's very dry. That this will stay on all day, all stinking day. And look at this. Nothing. Doesn't come off. No color comes off on my mug or on my hand. I love it. I love this stuff. It's my absolute favorite. And I think you get like 4 of them. I think you get like 4 of those lip stains for like $9. They are cheap as hell, but make sure if you go buy them, you buy them in my Amazon shop. And the Amazon shop, by the way, I had just had it pulled up here. There we go. Where is it? Amazon store. There it is. Okay, I'll drop it in the chat for you. Amazon shop. Rumble you too. Okay. I'll have to go add that coconut mist though, because the coconut oil mist is really good. It's very shiny and I like it. It gives a little bit of a hold, but some shine. All right. Here's my article. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I did want to highlight some of the comments by some of the lawyers that I listened to their reactions of the Jennifer Crumbley decision of the guilty verdict. And I liked some of their responses a whole lot. I would like you, though, to go and read this on your own and click on it and share it on social media. So Joe Neerman called the decision pathetic. I'm going to do my best Joe Neerman impression. Ready? "You just made America a crappier place," said Neerman after the verdict. "Way to go." A mob can basically rise up and say, we're going to pass judgment on whoever it is that's associated with, related to, or has anything to do with, and punish someone simply because they're associated with a criminal. He started incredulously. This was so ridiculously impossible for any parent to be able to predict. The school couldn't predict, that nobody could predict. And yet, for one reason or another, this jury says, oh, yeah. This woman should have been Nostradamus and known that her kid is a maniac. This is not about Jennifer Crumbley, continued Neerman. This is about holding someone to a yardstick that is now incumbent on you as a parent. You are now being held responsible. Why? Because they're gun owners. Neerman also pointed out an obvious double standard when it comes to holding parents accountable for the crimes of youth. Let's not skirt around the issue here, he continued. If Jennifer Crumbley was black, there's no way she would have been charged. And we know this because there are countless gangbangers out there running around and are not stopped or prevented by their parents, and none of these parents are charged. But if you're a white gun owner, the crosshairs are on you. It's a pretty good Joe impression, right? But without the New York accent. I don't really have that. I'm from Chicago. I don't really do a New York accent very well. If I did, it would be spot on. All right. Nicholas Starro, also good friend of the show. Love Nicholas. Go to Trial Watch and make sure you subscribe over there as well. Nicholas pointed out, he said, police in Michigan and everywhere else will use this to get warrants for parents' phones to collect evidence on kids' crimes. How do you like that? Your kid commits a crime, you're not going to have to hand over your phone and your computer and everything else to the police so they can dig around and see if you're responsible. And he continued, and if parents have one sentence or picture in their phone that looks illegal, you know what's going to happen. It's because it's a school shooting, said Andrew Branca from Law of Self-Defense, appearing on Making Law Simple Network, who I just found out is not streaming anymore. So he had his last stream yesterday. And I'm sorry to hear that. But he says that David said he's just too busy to put the time into it that he needs to, and that there's just not enough of a payoff for it. And with his channel as small as it is, with 6,000 subscribers, I feel his pain. It's true. It takes more than that, and it's really hard to get there. And I just, where was Legal Vices? Legal Vices was sleeping. And I was sorry, and I wish I had gotten a quote from Jeff, but when he's sleeping, and that's when I'm writing, so I had no choice. But Jeff, I appreciate you. I love what you have to say, and I agree with everything you've ever said. I don't think I've ever disagreed with you. It's true. All right. Okay, so Law of Self-Defense appeared on Making Law Simple, said it's not going to be enforced generally. I mean, what are they going to do? Go after all the single African-American mothers in Detroit when their kids are shooting each other? So I thought it was interesting that Andrew said that. He said it's not going to be enforced generally. That's right. It's going to be enforced selectively against the people the government wants to prosecute. If that doesn't scare the shit out of you, nothing will. That's terrifying. We are weaponizing the prosecutors even more than they already are to go after the people they deem to be a problem for them. And they don't deem inner city violent kids a problem and their parents. They just want to go after suburban parents because their kids are the ones shooting up schools. But why is it different if a kid shoots up a school or if a kid shoots up a mall? And Runkle brought it up. MG Law responded that they wouldn't have brought the charges if it had happened in a mall. Or not just a mall, a drug house, replied Ian Runkle of the Bailey, a Canadian gun rights attorney. Yeah. Why does the place make a difference? And those kids in the inner cities are shooting up kids in their neighborhoods. They're shooting 2-year-olds through their bedroom windows in drive-bys. Is that somehow less is that less bad than a school shooting? And a school, by the way, belongs to the state, a public school. It is the state's responsibility in those cases to keep those places safe. And they are failing. And Oxford High School failed. I have more evidence that did not come into the trial, this one anyway, that the school not only had evidence that this was going to happen, and they had evidence that the shooter himself was a problem. They had people complaining, students complaining to the staff, parents calling in and complaining to the staff, and they sent out an announcement that said, stop sensationalizing social media posts. Stop telling us about these alleged threats. We don't believe they're threats. Just days before the shooting. The school knew that we can actually prove the school knew that this was going to happen and did nothing. And I'm going to show you that in just a minute because I have that. In fact, before I forget, let me actually do that since we're talking about it right now. The school knew. And I'm shocked by this. And the school got immunity. A judge gave the school immunity. School admin emailed parents days before the shooting, dismissing the concerns because schoolmates and parents had reported concerns about Ethan's social media posts. They didn't call Ethan's parents to tell them, hey, people are complaining about your kid's social media account. Look what they did. They told the kids via loudspeaker to stop sensationalizing media threats. And here is an excerpt from the lawsuit that got thrown out by the judge when the judge gave the school immunity. This was one of the parents or a group of the parents' lawsuit against the school. And it was dismissed based on immunity. Look at this. Number 33, defendants Throne and Wolf had actual knowledge of concerns from parents of students. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm yelling. I'm starting to scream. Defendants Throne and Wolf had actual knowledge of concerns from parents of students at Oxford High School, as well as the students at Oxford, So parents and students. Despite the posts and knowledge of threats of violence, Defendant Throne sent correspondence and emails to parents at Oxford High School, reassuring them that their children were safe at Oxford High School. Following the November 16th, 2021 email exchanges and other communications from Defendant Wolf to the parents of Oxford High School students, Superintendent Throne warned the students via loudspeaker to stop spreading information over social media and to stop relying on information on social media, reiterating that there were no threats that posed any danger to students at Oxford High School. And you think Jennifer Crumbley is the one responsible for this? You think Ethan's parents are responsible? Who's responsible? The school. The school is responsible. The state government employees are responsible. And what did the state do? They gave them immunity. Immunity. You know how I feel about that?
You will pay for what you've done. And I pray that God send angels to visit vengeance upon you.
And yet they won't pay. They won't pay because a judge has decided that they won't pay. Duncan, Idaho, thanks for the locals tip. I appreciate that. And the 3 that you sent yesterday that I missed during the stream, by the way, I got to pull those up so I can read them. Duncan says, the stupider and more TikTok-brained we become as a nation in general, the stupider and more emotionally motivated and manipulatable our juries will become. Trials are looking more and more like idiocracy every day. Oh, wait till you see this jury foreperson. Wait till you see her. Wait till you see her. And while I'm thinking of it, Duncan, let me see if I can pull up your chats from yesterday, because I think I missed 3 of them, which I did not mean to. Oh, shoot. They're all the way in the back. They're all the way up at the top. I don't know if I can access them. All right. Well, Duncan, I just want to say thanks for sending them, and I'm sorry I missed it. Yesterday, I had streaming problems with YouTube, and I had to shut down a bunch of windows. Here's one I missed. From yesterday. Wait, that was the last one. Hold on. Hold on. I got a couple of. There it is. Okay. Here's what you said yesterday, Duncan. Here's something that's crazy. The increase in school shootings, and this was such a good point, has likely been increasing proportionately with the increase in gun laws over the past 60 years. But we still send all of our children to gather in almost completely undefended buildings, which are accessible by the public for 8 hours a day. And people keep asking what more we could possibly do. Defense. Arm willing teachers, more resource officers. I totally agree with this. I think teachers who are willing to and are knowledgeable and trained on gun safety and guns, they should do. And do you know how many of those people we have out here in rural America? Almost all the teachers are either hunters or they go to the shooting range. I would be completely comfortable with the teachers in my school being armed at all times. Completely, it would make me feel better. And then Duncan, Idaho, you also sent another one that I didn't read yesterday regarding the Alaska murders. You said, if someone killed one of my family members in that way, or even just regular old first-degree murder, I don't know how, or if I'd be able to surrender justice to the state. I know. I don't know how I wouldn't be compelled to rash action or be destroyed by it. I can't imagine the pain of knowing your loved one's last moments were spent in suffering and in fear. And by the way, if you guys were wondering about that Alaska trial, I tried to find it yesterday. It was carried on. Alaska Now did not carry it. They said they were going to, and then they didn't. And Court TV had a feed, and the sound was so bad, it was hurting my ears. I had to turn it off. It was so bad. So I can't stream it. So they complain about missing and murdered Indigenous women who don't get press, right? That we don't know their stories. And this Brian Smith trial in Alaska, where he killed he's on trial for killing 2 Indigenous women, is not being broadcast in any way that we can follow it. So, maybe you should write to Court TV, get them on Twitter and tell them, why aren't you broadcasting this in a way that we can hear it? Court TV had like a small broadcast, and it was one of the worst I've ever seen. So now we can't even follow it. And I'm sorry about that. All right, let's go back over to my article. I'll finish this up and then we'll get over to the juror. Wait, hold on. Share this instead. And begin. All right, I really like Ian's comment here. Oh, wait, let's first go to potentially criminal. As for Crumbley's chance of appeal, attorney Sean Martin at Potentially Criminal said, no judge is going to overturn this if they want to get reelected. If they overturn this, they're never getting elected again. He continued, no system of accountability works when the public can influence it. That's a good point. It's a good point. This is a politically charged decision. Jeff at Legal Vices just said at the end of his stream, you've got a community there who wanted vengeance. They were not happy to just have the shooter in jail. They wanted something. They wanted more blood, and they got it. They got their pound of flesh, and they're going to get it with James too. And this is not how justice works. We might as well have vigilante justice if this is what we're going to do in our justice system. PJ Media reached out to Runkle for comment on the verdict. And he said, and this is such a good quote, the principle established by the win in the Jennifer Crumbley case starts with her, but it will continue for other parents whose behavior, with the benefit of 2020 hindsight, was imperfect. And which one of you is perfect? Which one of you has made all the right parenting decisions? Sure, if we could look back in 2020, if Jennifer Crumbley could look back and know what was going to happen happened, she, of course, would have made changes. Of course, she would have done something different. And to hold it against her that she said she wouldn't have changed anything is not okay, because she was operating from the assumption of you have only the information you had at the time. Not the information we have now, but the information you had at the time. Would you have changed anything? Of course you wouldn't, because you didn't think you were doing anything wrong. You didn't know until it was too late that you screwed up. Manders, you found the link to the Alaska. Is the sound still bad, or did they fix it? Manders, did you mean the live chat going in locals right now? Oh, Duncan, Idaho. You listen. I'm not derailing the stream for you. You had some great comments, and I missed them yesterday, and I really wanted to get to them because because they were good. So thank you. All right. This opens the door, continued Runkle, for the state to pursue the parents of teens who drive drunk or join gangs. As the perfect parent does not exist, it raises the possibility that choosing to have a child may eventually mean time behind bars. Manders, I'm not seeing it in the current Locals live chat. Are you on the Wednesday chat? Go to the Wednesday chat. If you might be in the wrong chat. I thought I killed them all, but try the Wednesday chat. All right. Attorney David Helm of Making Law Simple Network told PJ Media, we have a situation where the state, through its witnesses twice, and in its closing arguments twice, said nobody saw this coming. But yet we are going to hold this parent responsible. This is Minority Report level policing of the populace. Yep. He continued, criticizing what some see as an activist jury. I believe the jury on Jennifer Crumbley's case was acting on emotion and not reason, he said. This is a big, scary case involving a school shooting. But put some parent on trial where her son did something less sensational, would you have the same outcome? If you say not necessarily, then this is clearly an emotional decision and one that has far-reaching consequences. Jennifer Crumbley will face sentencing in April, while James Crumbley, the shooter's father, is set to stand trial for the same charges in March. IT Goatee Brad from his sickbed, thanks for the super chat, says, feels like juries are nothing but reverse nullification lately. I still don't know how they found her guilty of this. I do not understand it. Brian Miller says, get Racket's opinion. It'll probably trickle its way up to Racket's at some point. He's busy with the Vince McMahon lawsuit, which really is crazy. Max Bang, thanks for the $10 super chat, says, who knew an evil version of Snow White would be the jury foreman, not on the bingo card? Yeah, right? And we're about to get there, and it's going to be interesting. Sandy B, thanks for the super chat, says, our schools have armed teachers, Megan, and I'm proud of it, too. What state is that, Sandy? What state? I found that same article yesterday about prior knowledge. I think if teachers want to be armed, they should be. IT Goatee Brad. Oh, I just did read that. Okay, awesome. I'm caught up on the super chats. Thank you, by the way, for the super chats. Don't forget, Archie Ruckus Cam is on the table. We hit $100 in super chats. I'll turn on the Archie Ruckus Cam and give him a ball full of treats, and you guys can watch him stare out the window and play with his treat ball. Galaki McLockface, thanks for the super chat, says, did you see what Crowder posted on X about the school shooter that was going to target students of faith? And then the school tried to cover it up. It's frightening insanity. I did not. I heard about it. People were telling me about it, but I haven't had a chance to review it yet. But look, I care about this a lot. I'm a parent. I think it was Joe who said, none of us can understand what the parents of these kids are going through. We cannot, because our children are still alive. And I am horrified by what happened at the Oxford High School and by all of these school shootings. And the parents, I understand. I understand that they want as many people to pay as they possibly can. It just concerns me that the justice system is being used for vengeance instead of for justice. Vengeance is not justice. Justice requires that we meet certain elements, and I do not believe they were met in this case. And I think that when we watch this juror interview, we may have more questions about what the jury used, but I haven't watched it yet. So maybe she will convince us, this vampire woman. Oh, but before we do, I got to show you the pictures of the close-up of her mouth. Okay, so that would be on my Twitter. All right. So I am not kidding when I said I thought that she's wearing fangs. Like, I think and it also would explain why she has this like mush mouth effect where she can't talk she kind of mushes her mouth around, because I think she's talking over prosthetics. This is the Forewoman who came out, right? This is right after court. Do you see these teeth here and here? They're like very pointy. I actually think I found them on Etsy. They're $250. They are prosthetics that you wear over your teeth, and they're not actually vampire teeth. They're called cat. They're called cat fangs. And here's what they look like. $320 you can get these customized on Etsy. Do you see how they just come down just a little bit here? They're not like super overextended fangs like vampire. They're just meant for like this animal aesthetic or whatever. I don't know if she's a furry or whatever the hell. But let's look at hers again. Doesn't that look so similar to that? I mean, look, this is to me, yeah, I think they are for furries or something. Yeah, she identifies as a feline, maybe. Yep. We're putting furries on the jury now. Again, Shannon Smith, defense attorney. What the hell are you thinking? Letting a nose ring wearing with cat fangs on a jury to be a peer of Jennifer Crumbley, a 26-year-old vampire aesthetic goth chick on you're looking for when you're doing jury selection, in this case as the defense, you are looking for someone who is conservative. You're looking for somebody who has kids. You're looking for a family person. You're looking for someone who probably hunts and shoots, has knowledge of guns, has children. You are not looking for a 26-year-old goth club kid. The hell is wrong with you? You should have used your if you had any what do they call that where you can strike a juror, you should have used it on this one. Guaranteed. And I know that she looked like this when she came in because this is her look. Like she looks like this all the time. The hell is that? Yeah, she's wearing implants. Literally wearing, or she's wearing prosthetics like this. These are prosthetics. So you put your mouth into like one of those mold things, and then you send it to the Etsy person, and they make these prosthetics for your teeth. Now this person's wearing uppers and lowers. I think the juror is the foreperson is just wearing uppers because I didn't see any real pointy stuff on the bottom here. But you can see, and let me see if I can even get closer. Those are not normal teeth. No. And wait till you see how she talks. What's a cat vampire groupie? Yeah, these are cat teeth. This is what they call them. They're cat teeth. What's a cat vampire? Hold on, let's find out. This is something I didn't have on my bingo card either. Cat vampires? Cat vampire. What is it? Let's see if this is this like an aesthetic or something? All signs are pointing to the vampire aesthetic being what? Wait, what does this have to do with cats? I can't find anything under cat vampire. Is this like a furry thing? Haley says, oh dear God, Megan Fox is entering the weird part of the internet. Somebody stop me. See, this is the kind of shit that then a cop gets a warrant for my computer, because my kid did something, and then they see my search history and look at how fucked up it is. Look, this could get me put in jail right here. She's a furry. She's looking up cat teeth. She's looking up cat teeth, $230 cat teeth on Etsy. You think you see points on the bottom? Yeah, a little, but I don't understand why you're insulting the jurors. Well, you might understand as we continue to go on. I have a right to have an opinion on what this juror looks like. She put herself out there. And she looks like a freak. And I'm not, as a defense attorney, I'm not putting a freak on the jury. No way am I putting somebody on the jury that it doesn't even have the common sense not to wear sharp teeth implants. Pretty sure furries are a protected class. Ashley, let me know what you think about the lip stains. I think you're going to love them. I didn't think I was going to like them, because I thought it would be too drying, but you can wear any kind of gloss over them and it doesn't come off. It's amazing. I hear that the Koreans have the best makeup and they are Korean lip stains. And my daughter told me that they have the best stuff. So I just decided to try it and I agree. They're great. All right, let's get over to the interview. Here we go. She was interviewed on the Today Show. Let's watch it. Wait, why do we have no volume?
Oh, Alex, good morning to you. We're not mentioning your last name for your own privacy reasons. I have to say, to have you here, it's a privilege because what we asked jurors to do in this.
How many earrings does Meredith Vieira have? Isn't that Meredith Vieira? Why does she have like 8 earrings going up one ear? Is this 1986? Is she in a punk band?
This country is really, really difficult.
Difficult.
To sit in judgment of their fellow citizen.
Look at her earrings. We got a cross hanging here. Maybe she's joining the vampire goth thing too. Look at the blouse. She's got black lace. This is kind of a vampy shirt. What's going on? That's Savannah Guthrie. I thought it was Meredith Vieira. So they all look the same to me. She having an identity crisis? I thought this was going to be about the juror, but suddenly I want to know what the hell is going on with Savannah Guthrie. Is she having a second teenagehood? What she's trying to relate. JoJo says she's trying to relate. LOL. Oh my gosh. What is going on here?
And that is something that you and your fellow jurors did. What was it like in that courtroom, having that responsibility and delivering that verdict yesterday?
There was definitely a weight. I think anytime we entered the courtroom, there was an undeniable weight on us.
Those are some expensive nails. Those cost at least $100, maybe more.
Took the responsibility that was put upon us seriously. And I'm just one of 12 that made a very difficult decision.
What was the evidence that swayed you in the end? You said it wasn't an easy decision. This wasn't a
Not
slam dunk.
easy at all. So speaking for myself, I know that each individual juror.
You can see how her lips stand out over the prosthetics a little bit, and it causes her to have like a difficulty talking. I mean, how do you trust the judgment of a person who's wearing prosthetic teeth as a vampire cat aesthetic? It's fine. Like, go be a club kid, and I bet you're really fun to hang out with. I bet she's fun to hang out with, but I don't want her on my jury. Look, oh my God, locals. And the memes are back. The memes are back. We thought this trial wasn't funny. We've got Howard Hunter saying, I thought I killed this Dracula. Meanwhile, in Michigan. Lord.
Had their own opinion. This did this for one person. This convinced the other. For me, I just feel like Jennifer didn't separate her son from the gun enough to save those lives that day.
Okay, what evidence was there that Jennifer didn't separate her son from the gun? We still don't know how he got his hands on it. The state did not prove how or when he accessed that gun. All we know is that Jennifer Crumbley's testimony was that it was in a case with a cable lock and the key was hidden in a beer stein, and she didn't even know where the key was. So did Ethan, a reasonably intelligent 15-year-old who was determined to do a bad thing, search the house, find the key? He had to find the gun too, and this was not admissible in court, and I can't believe it. I think the judge is out of her mind. The judge did not allow a journal entry into court that said that where Ethan said he had to find the gun his dad hid. So his father hid the gun. His father locked the gun. His father hid the key. How many more things do you have to do as a parent to keep a gun away from your kid? I mean, if I don't know my kid is dangerous, I think that's good enough that I've locked the case, I've put it somewhere where the kids don't know where it is, and I've hidden the key. If they go around my precautions, how is that not their fault and not mine. Oh. I mean, does this sound like somebody who's really sure about what she did?
You felt she was the last person known to have had custody of the gun.
Yes.
False. The last person to have custody of the gun was the vice principal or the dean of students, the one who handed him the backpack, who commented, "Ooh, this is heavy." The day that this kid drew the violent picture, and the day they were all concerned and called his parents in, the same day, the last person to have custody of that gun, the last adult before Ethan Crumbley, was the vice principal of the school. And he didn't bother to check the backpack. So this is a false statement. You convicted a woman on a false fact, a fact that was not true. Max Bang, thanks for the super chat, says the school administrator was technically the last one with a gun. It was in the freaking bag that he carried to the office and even mentioned how heavy it was. They didn't check his bag. They had threats of violence from him on social media. They didn't call his parents. They told the kids in the school to stop freaking out and stop bothering them. Equality, thanks for the super chat, said, I've said this before. I was a perfect mom before I had my first child. Judged all parents and said my child would never, definitely not anymore. Yeah, I'm very, very hesitant to say my kid would never anything. Because you do not know. You only know what you know. And unless you're willing to invade your child's privacy on every level all the time, and even then you can get put in jail. Nicholas Starro tweeted out yesterday the boy in the box trial. I didn't know anything about that trial, and I was like, how does this relate? He's like, nope, you can't put your kid under 100% surveillance. You'll go to jail for that too. I look it up, and the guy who went to jail for keeping his kid in a box in the garage, not like a little box, but like a room in the garage under surveillance, apparently the kid was in there because he had some kind of serious mental illness and was a danger to people. And when people say you have to go get your kid who has mental illness help, do they know how bad the system is for helping kids with mental illness? I have parents contact me every day. I have them in my inbox. I've got one in particular that I was talking to not too long ago, whose son was severely mentally ill. She tried everything she could to get him help. She finally had to turn him over to the state because there was no help. There was no help. And the state promised that they would take care of him. And now the state is abusing him in foster, and she can't get him out of a foster group home where they're not helping him at all. This was a violent kid. If you have a violent kid with a deep mental disorder, you don't even want to know how bad it is out there. There is no help. There is no cure. There is no one to help you. So the idea, so then this guy, the boy in the box guy, his father puts him in a thing so he can't hurt anybody, in a room, and that he goes to jail for that too. So what? You can't win. God help you if you have a kid with a mental disorder. God help you. And then we have social media companies who are the ones giving our kids mental disorders. More kids than ever have mental disorders than ever before because they're on technology all day. Who knows? They're on going down these. We don't interact with each other anymore. We don't go outside anymore. We don't touch grass. We don't have real human interaction. The kids suffered through 3 years of COVID lockdowns. They were taken away from all of their friends. Their depression, anxiety has gone way, way, way up. Well, Jennifer, I realize that was an extreme case, and I haven't read the case. I realize it was extreme. But here we have the government on one hand saying, if you don't properly surveil your children and they do something bad, you're going to be held responsible. And on the other hand, if you go too far and you're surveilling them all the time or you lock them away from people, well, now you're abusive and you're going to jail too. I need to know where the line is. I need to know where the line is. And it couldn't have been that bad. They only gave him 5 years. So how bad was it? There had to have been, what was the defense was he was a danger to society. But you know what I'm saying. I don't know that case inside and out. It sounds awful. But again, you can't on one hand have the state prosecuting parents for going too far with the surveillance. And then in this case, not far enough. Where is the line? Where is the, you have to be a perfect parent now, and there is no such thing. There is no such thing. And we can't hold social media companies, we can't hold Zuckerberg accountable for all the mental illness that Instagram is giving the kids and the eating disorders. Can't hold them accountable. We can haul him in front of a Senate committee and yell at him a little bit, and then he goes back to his yacht, and the rest of us go to jail for the mental illness and the crimes that our kids commit because of his fucking tech. Can't do anything about what he puts out in front of him, though. Can't make him stop putting disgusting, illegal content in front of our kids. Can't stop TikTok from pushing your kids down algorithms that are making them sick. I think the answer is we have to become Amish and reject all technology. All right, moving on. Hello? Oh, we're going to freeze now?
Somehow it ends up in his hands.
And I think the responsibility of securing the weapon then falls on her.
What about those text messages or journal entries or things that the jurors saw where it indicated that Ethan had asked for help and that his parents hadn't given him that help? Was that persuasive to you?
To me personally, it wasn't as impactful as the evidence of her having the gun.
So for this one, it's all about the gun. But
I know for my fellow jurors that
hold on, somebody in the chat just asked a question that I thought was interesting. Oh, here, Sierra said, I was a violent kid. My mom put me in therapy rather than buying me swords and throwing knives. Now, I agree that although therapy, good luck finding a good therapist. Good luck. Because most of them are quacks, in my experience. Therapists are quacks. It's very difficult to find somebody who, agrees with your worldview or your parenting style or it's just very hard. There's a lot of woke bullshit in the therapeutic world right now. You've got therapists out there encouraging children to self-mutilate because they feel uncomfortable in their bodies. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sure you do know what I'm talking about, but if I say it too specifically, YouTube will try to demonetize my channel again. But that's the prevailing wisdom in the therapeutic community right now is to affirm delusions in children that lead them to commit bodily harm, irreparable, irreversible bodily harm. That's what we're talking about. You think I want to send my kid to a therapist who ascribes to that bullshit? I do not. I prefer, if I have a problem like this with one of my children, I'll be bringing them to their priest. I will be bringing them to maybe an occupational therapist. I don't know, but I do not trust the therapeutic community, the psychological community, to do the right thing or give my child good advice. Do you? I mean, some of these people are nuts. Absolutely nuts. I know, but we can't watch your stream without technology. I know. There's such a catch-22 because technology brings us so many good things, and the internet has so many great things to offer and so many resources. And the challenge you have as a parent is teaching your kids on how to access all those good things and avoid the dark and the bad. And it's a real problem. And I have been working on it. I have teenagers. I've got a 9-year-old, I've got a 15-year-old, and I've got a 18-year-old. And I think I've done a good job teaching my 18-year-old. She's very trustworthy. I've never had any problem with her. She's like my informer on the other ones, and she's got a good head on her shoulders. But my God, what if she didn't? Is that my fault? I just don't know where the line is. We try our best. We try to teach them what is good for them, what is worthwhile, what is beautiful, what is lovely. Think on those things, right? But that doesn't mean that they're not going to be pushed down these rabbit holes through their peers or Instagram. I had a real hard time deciding whether or not to let my kids have Instagram, the 2 older ones. And I only agreed to it after COVID. And see, this is the thing. During COVID, those of us who were anti-technology parents, and I was one of them, my kids didn't have any of those apps. They only had games. During COVID, this freaking government made it impossible, and the schools made it impossible for our kids to continue being off of the social media, because it was the only way they had to connect with their friends. And so that's when I finally broke down and let them have it. And it still scares me to this day. Now, luckily, I'm on there with them, and I see what they're liking, and I see what they send me, and it's all positive, good stuff. But I know how dangerous it is, and I know how quickly it can go somewhere else. And a lot of this is not the fault of parents. A lot of it is the fault of our freaking government, who forced us into this antisocial reality. Megan just ratted out her informer, hopes snitches get hugs and high fives. Well, she does it with love, but I do rely on her, though, because I can't know as an adult all the things the kids are into, right? And what things mean. I have to ask her all the time, what is this game? Is this okay for him to play? How do we turn on? In fact, I had her boyfriend come over the other day. It was so funny. I called them. They were hanging out over at his house. And I said, please come home. I need you desperately. Please bring your boyfriend here and have him. I need him to fix the Oculus so that my son can't talk to strangers. There is a thing on the Oculus where they go into this rec room, and there are games to play. But if you have your chat turned on, strangers can talk to you, and you can hear them, and they can hear you, and it's really bad. And luckily, I knew that before I let my son get on there, and he wanted to play with his friends from school. And so you have to know how to do these things, and I don't, and most people don't. So I have my 18-year-old's boyfriend coming over to fix it for me, and he did. He fixed it in 5 minutes. He had it fixed. Yeah, the VR chat. So there's a setting, but you have to know how to do these things. You have to know, and the kids know more than we do. That's the other scary part. You can put a bunch of, locks and things and, parental controls. These kids know how to get around all of it. They know how to get around it. Oh, Oculus. What's Oculus? It's so fun. It's virtual reality games. And we have a great time with that. We love the Oculus. We have so much fun with it. We play Beat Saber. Beat Saber is like one of my favorite games. And my little one loves to play this thing called Gorilla Tag with his friends, because if you have your friends, if you can hook up with your friends who have Oculus at their house, you can play with them. You can play games with them, and they play Gorilla Tag together, and they can hear one another. So we now have it set where only his friends he knows that he's attached to as friends in the Oculus, they can hear and talk to one another, but not strangers, But do all parents know these things? Absolutely not. Would I have even known if someone hadn't warned me? No, I wouldn't. I know we are responsible for the government we have. Unfortunately, we can't control our neighbors, and I feel like I'm not responsible for them. I'm not responsible for how they vote. There are so many good things about technology. That Oculus, for instance, if my sister had one, I keep trying to talk her into getting one. She and I could, and she's in Maryland, we could have a Saturday movie night, and both of it, we could meet each other in the theater on the VR and be sitting next to one another and throwing popcorn at each other and watching a movie. For real. That's how, and it's like her avatar, and I have an avatar, and she has an avatar. I mean, it's so fun. It's so fun. It's such a great thing, and but it can also be a really bad thing, and it can also, so everything we have has these really good or really horrible, and you've got to find some kind of balance, and it's really difficult.
The Notebook played a huge part.
Tell me about her testimony.
What Notebook?
Jennifer Crumbley took the stand in her.
What?
It wasn't as impactful as the evidence of her having the gun, but I know for my fellow jurors that the Notebook played a huge part.
What
it
Notebook?
Indicated that Ethan had asked for help and that his parents hadn't given it
Hold
on her. What about those text messages or journal entries or things that the jurors saw where it indicated that Ethan had asked for help and that his parents hadn't given him that help? Was that persuasive to you?
What she's talking about is the text message he sent to a friend The same friend that he told he was going to shoot up the school, and that friend, to my knowledge, didn't tell anybody. Or maybe that was one of the people who complained to the school, and the school said, ignore it, there's no threat. How is a mother supposed to know what texts her son is sending to friends unless she's reading all of his texts? And let's be honest, who is doing that? Are any of you reading your kids' texts to their friends? Are you reading their journal? I would never pick up my child's journal unless I had a reason to, unless I had an indication that there was something they were hiding from me that was dangerous. And the journal was only partially admitted. Right. That mom never saw it. I don't know how you hold her accountable for a thing she didn't see. She didn't see the text. She didn't see the journal. Well, I'll tell you what. Okay, so Fubar Tam says, if my kid was Ethan, yes, he seemed nuts and a dud. If I had, there's a lot of things Jennifer Crumbley did, though, that I wouldn't do as a parent. Like, for instance, the room. His room was such a mess that she let him move into another room instead of making him clean that one. I would never have done that. I would have made him clean the room. I would have done it with him. And as I was cleaning the room, I would have found the head in the jar, which they complained that he had a head in the jar, the prosecution, but they never proved that the parents saw it because it was underneath a bunch of stuff in his room that they didn't clean. Now, if she had cleaned it and she saw the head in the jar, well, then yeah, she need the bird head in the jar. That's absolutely, she should have done something about that, but she didn't see it. So what are we doing here? Hindsight is 20/20. And not cleaning your kid's room is not a crime. Some people don't. I personally feel that you have to clean your kid's room until they're capable of doing it themselves. And even then, they need help. They need help. My daughter, who's 15, just finally started cleaning her own room really well. He had a bird's head in a jar. He had tortured a bird, decapitated it, and put it in a jar. And he kept it. And it was in his room. But it was underneath a bunch of stuff. He sent pictures of it to the friend, not to mom.
To me personally, it wasn't as impactful as the evidence of her having the gun. But I know for my fellow jurors that
You're right.
Played a huge.
She is wearing the lower teeth too. Look I just saw them. I just saw the sharp. There it is. Do you see the pointy teeth on the bottom? I don't know if you can see that, but I have a bigger screen. If you have this on a big screen, let me see if I can make it a little bigger. Hold on. Here, if you have a bigger screen, you can see that she's got unusually pointy teeth on the bottom too. It's subtle. It's subtle, but I believe she's wearing those prosthetics. I really do. It's bizarre.
But I know for my fellow jurors that the notebook played a huge part.
Tell me about her testimony. It's Jennifer Crumbley took the stand in her own defense. She testified. What did you make of her on the witness stand?
Chat. Jojo says, how could he not have mental health problems if he's doing things like that? That is a really good question. And also it has nothing but a scary answer. Ethan Crumbley has not been diagnosed with any mental illness other than mild depression, which is mild depression even a mental illness? Because don't all people suffer from mild depression at some time or another? All people suffer from some form of anxiety at one time or another, because anxiety is a natural, normal human function. It helps us function. Anxiety is actually something that helps us get through, helps us survive. So every person has it. And in our day and age, is there such a thing as a person without mild depression? Because that's what he was diagnosed with by the psychiatrist after he was arrested, the one that the state appointed, as far as I know. Yeah, the state used him in their. I watched his what was that hearing? The one where he was found to be competent and also an adult to stand trial. The adult. Are we going to try him as an adult? That hearing, whatever they call that. The state's psychiatrist found that when he was first, the Miller hearing, thank you, when he was first evaluated, she found him to have more than mild. What is the next step up from mild? Medium to severe depression. And then after therapy, after he was given therapy and had several sessions of therapy, she downgraded it to mild depression. That's it. That's all he has been diagnosed with. So the answer is, I'm sorry, yes, moderate. Thank you. Moderate to severe. We're only medium smart here. We're moderately smart, you could say. But it's really scary because he doesn't have a mental illness. He's not being diagnosed with one. So the question, how can someone do something like that, torture an animal, if they are not mentally ill? The answer is, I don't know, but it appears it can happen. It appears that you can do things, that people can do things, sick things, evil things, and not be mentally unwell. And it's just more proof that it's possible his parents had no idea that he was just a little down sometimes and kind of a weird kid and stayed to himself and was kind of a loner. And that describes a lot of people who don't pick up a gun and shoot people. I don't know if that's going to be the sign. That's the red flag. Then do all of our kids, when they go through moody teenage phase, need to go to therapy? Mander says he may not have been diagnosed correctly. Well, that's the only diagnosis they have right now. She determined he was not hallucinating. He did not see things. That was something that he was just talking about. Like, he did not see things. He's not diagnosed with hallucinations. Duncan, Idaho, thanks for the super chat, says, does everyone not decapitate birds? It's just mild depression, bro. No big deal. Why are you being weird about this? Again, though, maybe that means, that our mental health providers are not so great at finding these things. Like, how much faith do we have in the justice system? I mean, in the not justice. How much faith do we have in the mental health system in this country? I don't have much. Locals is working on the memes again. Wait, what does this say? In the end, the jury reached a unanimous decision to not challenge the undead foreperson. That's good. Oh boy, the memes are back. This juror really helped us with the memes. Because this trial was not funny in any way. But now it is funny. Here's the juror's reaction to the stream. It's really good. How did Shannon Smith let her get on this jury? Oh, she does kind of look like Snow White. Everybody is just one bad poison apple away from a bad day. Oh my gosh, locals. If you want to get in on the fun over there at locals, meganfox.locals.com, there's members only live chats every day. And the meme farmers are busy, hard at work, making the memes, curating memes, growing the memes daily, taking care of them, harvesting the memes. And they're always hilarious. The decision was easy. We must burn all the witches that birthed the blood spillers. This is funny. meganfox.locals.com right now. The promo code for 2 free months for an entire year membership, which is only $5 a month. Promo code, what is the promo code? Tonsil Twins, all caps. Tonsil Twins. Okay. Locals, you're distracting me. Stop distracting me with memes. Okay, let's go back to this. She was just asked, what did you think about Jennifer Crumbley's testimony? We're going to hear what Elvira has to say about that.
At the time, I tried to take her as she gave herself. But once we went into deliberation, it became clear that she wasn't a super reliable witness in this case.
Do you think she helped herself on the stand or hurt herself? Would it have been better?
I wish she had said why. Why wasn't she reliable? Why didn't they find her reliable? I find this case to be, I mean, the prosecution wasn't there. So all we have is Jennifer Crumbley's statements about what happened. And the prosecution didn't show any evidence that I saw that would show her to be some kind of dastardly liar. But maybe I missed something. Granted, I did not see every single second of this trial.
Better, in other words, if she hadn't testified at all.
We'll never know.
Yeah. You talked about her testimony. There was a point where she was asked, would you have done anything differently? And she said she wouldn't have. How did that strike you and the other jurors?
It was repeated a lot in the deliberation room. I think that it was very upsetting to hear.
This is why I didn't like that answer either, because I knew they were going to take it out of context. She was answering, would you do something? It was a bad question. It was a bad question because the question should have been from her attorney. If having all the knowledge, just the same knowledge you had as of that time, not now, not looking back, but then, was there anything you could do differently? And the answer is no, because you can't do anything different with knowledge you don't have. And I wish she had said it differently, because it sounded like she was saying, if I could go back, I wouldn't do anything different. And I don't believe that was what she was saying. And that's how they took it.
I think that there are many small things that could have been done to prevent this.
When you went back into the jury room, you're the jury foreperson.
I am.
Which is a big responsibility. And I should just mention again, there is no manual for jurors. Nobody tells jurors how to deliberate. So how did you handle it? And how was the jury immediately in agreement, or how did it play out?
So I took it more as a job of facilitation. I wanted to make sure that each and every juror, to the best of my ability, was heard and understood and made their point, and we heard their piece. And so that was the role that I took on as the foreperson. It was not immediately unanimous, and it was my responsibility to hear the concerns of those on either side and construct an argument either way.
Do you feel that the jurors wish they could have heard from Ethan Crumbley himself?
I'm not sure how much that would have helped or hurt.
Alex, thank you so much for your civil service. Being a juror is not.
So she says it was her job to hear the sides and then construct an argument against those. Yeah, I'm not sure that's what a jury foreperson is supposed to do. But, it sounds to me like she argued with the people who disagreed with her. And I guess that's what happens when you're on a jury. You're going to have people arguing back and forth. Yeah, who put a child on the jury in a case like this? It's just, Lord, this person does not have a real high level of maturity, and I don't know if she has kids or not, but this was a very bad choice to put someone like her on a jury for this particular case. You're looking for someone who's more conservative, probably older, has children, has more life experience, because when you're this age, yeah, you think you know everything. When you're this age, you think you know how everything should work, and you know that, and all the things that you would have done differently that would have made this situation better, and you're just so sure of yourself. But that's just not reality, and that's just not real. All right. Let me check to make sure I didn't miss anything. We got all the tips in, got all the, yep, looks like it. Let me check Rumble. How you doing over there on Rumble? Everybody's doing okay over there. Wonderful. So that's it. That's the juror interview. And Lord, I just think that this is more of an indictment against Shannon Smith. Shannon Smith made some big mistakes in this trial. and one of them was not doing good jury selection. This is not you're supposed to be tried by a jury of your peers. How this woman is one of Jennifer Crumbley's peers, no. I wouldn't want any 26-year-olds on a jury for me. I think a jury of your peers should be in approximately the same age group. People who understand, who come from similar backgrounds, those are peers. But yeah, I think this was a big mistake. Big mistake. And I don't know how the appeal is going to go. I don't have a whole lot of hope for it. I think there's going to be wide-ranging consequences for this. All right. I want you guys to make sure that you get over to pjmedia.com. You make sure that you click for me. Make sure you like this stream. Did you like the stream while you were here? Did you do that? Make sure you get over here to PJ Media and click on my new article. Please share it if you can. I'm going to copy and put it in the chat. Clickety click. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip over to a locals only stream. We are going to do a members only stream where I am going to be working on a new podcast that I am thinking I am going to be launching a new podcast. If I can, I am going to try it anyway. That will be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. It's basically my idea. I'm going to go over there and brainstorm with the fam over on locals for a while. So I'm going to kill this stream, but I'm going to fire up a new one on meganfox.locals.com. And I'm going to have my family over there help me brainstorm what should this podcast be. It's only going to be about 25 to 30 minutes. What should it focus on? And then I'll probably record the first episode. I just had a meeting today with one of the podcast hosting sites that I'm thinking about joining. And I want to expand the show. And that's what we're going to do. I'm always moving onward and upward. We're going to try something new. So those of you who want to join me over on meganfox.locals.com, we are adding new members every day. It's only $5 a month. That is less money than a venti latte at Starbucks. Can you believe it? $7 I paid for one of those lattes the other day. Absolutely ridiculous. Please make sure that you get over there and you clickety click on my article and join locals, meganfox.locals.com. If you want to just sign up for a free trial, you can do that too. Use promo code Maya, all caps, MAYA. That will give you a free month when you sign up monthly. And promo code Tonsil Twins for an entire year. That gives you 2 free months off. And it is really a deal because we have so much fun stuff going on over there. I do cooking streams. I do art streams. We just did this really cool encaustic painting using wax on wood. So fun. I do work streams over there. And now I'm going to start doing podcasting over there where I'm recording my podcast and editing it while I hang out with you guys. And right now I'm going to go over there and brainstorm with them. I need to come up with a name for this podcast. I need to come up with, a focus. And we're going to go do that right now. Please join me at meganfox.locals.com. And I'll see you again soon, probably tomorrow. So take care, everybody. It's time to say goodbye.
I was so lost, my world is near its end. I almost felt my head is full of a million choices. I am alive, I'm not here to pretend. I love my friends, my heart is filled with a million voices. Oh, this road has many choices, oh, and my heart, million voices. Come next to me, my friend, embrace the sky. I'm not afraid to fly. It's not the time to say goodbye. I don't wanna say goodbye. No, I don't wanna say. though my road is near its end. I almost felt my head is full of a million choices. I am alive, I'm not here to pretend. I love my friends, my heart is filled with a million voices. Oh, this road has many choices, and my heart, million voices. Come next to me, my friend, embrace the sky. I'm not afraid to fly. It's not the time to say goodbye. I don't wanna say goodbye. No, I don't wanna stay. No, I don't wanna say goodbye.
So I take it that
Johnny's
you've seen
problem is he
Tamara
should have
John's
come
bedroom
storming
before.
in there with
Yeah.
a string of
Do you
garlic
recall whether
and
you
some
went
holy
into
water.
Mr.
And a
Dexter's
cross,
first
a crucifix
bedroom?
on
May the
Do you
power of
recall,
Christ
or no, you
compel you.
No, I don't.
You
So
realized
Miss
his house
Hubbard,
was infested with
just up for
succubuses
that,
and
there's a picture here with you of what it, yes. Do you recall whether it was there when you arrived in the afternoon? I don't remember seeing it now. So while she
No wonder he said drown her before you burn her.
Oh my god.
You-
Your next witness?
Now I know
Witness
why you wanted to drown her.
Laces. And that
Next
is
witness
also
lives in
by
Romania.
video.
Is that correct?
That begins with Miss Vaz.